Hello, my myRockworld fans. We are here in Austria, in Telfs, with an exclusive interview with Ricky Warwick and Damon Johnson of Black Star Riders. Welcome to myRockworld.
Thank you.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks for having us.
Isn't this an awesome place to start a tour?
It's a great place, man.
Have you ever been before here in Telfs in Austria?
I've been to Innsbruck, which is pretty close, but never to Telfs, and it's beautiful. Damon was out playing golf earlier, and I went out for a bit of a run, and just a beautiful scenery, obviously with the Alps, and the air so fresh, and it's great. It's great.
No, it's truly spectacular, man. I bet you guys probably take it for granted because you see it every day, yeah. But I can't remember being somewhere that every 10 minutes we would just stop and go, wow, look at that. You know, what a great, it's just spectacular, man. The panoramic view everywhere you turn is beautiful. It's very cool that we can start our tour here.
Okay, let's start with the first question. In December last year, the Black Star Riders was born. Mm-hmm. What was the reason to let the name Thin Lizzy retire, and who had the idea for the new band name?
Well, it was a combination of a few things. Originally, we had planned to make a new Thin Lizzy album. That's what Brian and Scott had talked about, and so we were all kind of focused on that work. And as the songs began to accumulate, we got closer to the time to actually go in and begin recording. We'd always felt uncomfortable about the idea of calling it Thin Lizzy without Phil. The guy was such an icon, and certainly a tremendous influence on so many people. And the good news is that we were very excited about the songs, and we knew that they could stand on their own. So when the idea first came of putting them out under a different name, because the songs were so strong, I think it made us all feel better about that. We had a lot of confidence in that, and and I have to give Ricky all the credit really for coming up with a name.
He does come up with a name.
Yeah.
When did you have the name?
I'm either the one to blame or the one to take the credit. Depends whichever way you look at it. Well, we needed a name, and I guess I'm the lyric guy, and I guess stuff like that comes up. People sort of go, well, you're the guy who's coming up with the words, so give it your best shot. But no, everybody threw in ideas, and I did too. And everything we came up with, we just went, nah, or we didn't like it. And it's a hard thing to do. It's impossible to be original when it comes to band names now. Everything's been taken, and it's not easy. We wanted something that was catchy, something that would look great on a T-shirt, something that would be iconic, something that would be easily identifiable. And that was very important. That was what we stipulated. Yeah. So that's no easy task. And we were just racking our brains, and I was watching things like movies that we all like and reading books that we all like. One of the movies we all love is Tombstone, the Kurt Russell one that came out in '93. And I stuck that on, and I don't even know if it's said in the movie, but something Black Star, and the guys riding in the Outlaws, it came into my head. I thought, Black Star Riders. This is cool. It sounds like a gang. Sounds iconic. Threw it open. Everybody sort of loved it straight away, except for Scotty. But then he doesn't like anything straight away, So it was no surprise there. But I was like, dude, what's your suggestion? Well, I ain't going. I says, okay, well there you go. So we lived with it for about a week. The problem was we were going to make the record really quickly, and we didn't have a lot of time to fuck around, to screw around. So we needed to come up with a name. And we all dug it, and it was the more sort of we live with it, the more we're like, well, nobody's kind of beating it, and it does look kind of cool. That was it. Okay. It was born, and it stuck.
Your debut album, All Hell Breaks Loose, is out since May. In my opinion, it's a very strong and fresh-sounding album with lots of typical Thin Lizzy trademarks. What is different between Thin Lizzy and Black Star Riders besides the band name?
Well, there's a lot of differences, and I have to give Ricky a lot of credit. Ricky and myself and Jimmy, we were all very influenced, and Marco, we were all very influenced by Thin Lizzy when we were starting to play and beginning our careers in the business. So it was an honor to be asked to join the band and to be a part of that legacy and that history. So it was really a joy to write these songs with kind of the black, the blueprint of thinking of trying to make it sound somewhat Thin Lizzy. But Ricky has a lot of other influences, certainly lyrically, and I think a lot of his punk influence, even a lot of his American singer-songwriter influence, if it's Bruce Springsteen, Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson, artists like that, that whole storytelling thing. And, I always take it as a compliment when people talk about even some Southern guitar bands, if it's the Allman Brothers, and there's a little of that kind of tucked in there as well. So I think that's part of the reason the record it's a real melting pot of a lot of different things. Definitely Thin Lizzy is kind of sugar-coated over the whole thing, but there's a lot of other stuff going on underneath it.
Okay. Ricky, what do you think? What would Phil Lynott think of the record? Would you be amazed?
Hopefully, I think he'd dig it. Phil was a rocker in every sense of the word, and he certainly played from the heart and from the soul. And I think he'd listen to the record and he'd understand that it's from the heart and from the soul, with very respectfully, with good intent. And if they're good rock and roll songs with big choruses, if those songs don't move you, then there's something wrong with you. And I'm sure Phil would have dug it. Yeah. I like to think so, anyway.
Okay. What are your favorite songs on All Hell Breaks Loose on the new album?
Well, for me, it tends to shift a little. Like right when the album came out, I had some favorites, and then through the summer, I was home with my family a lot, and I would play it, with my wife and the kids. And my 5-year-old daughter, she loves Hoodoo Voodoo and wants to hear that all the time. And my wife is a big fan of Before the War. But I'm really proud of Kingdom of the Lost. Mm-hmm. I felt like that was a special song when we were writing it, when we were recording it, and the reaction that we've gotten from a lot of fans, a lot of friends and family. I just think it's a special song. I just felt like we accomplished our goal. We set the bar really high for the whole record. So to have some songs on there, like Bound for Glory, like All Hell Breaks Loose, like Kingdom of the Lost, it just makes me really proud of it. But when I'm in my car at home, I crank up songs like The Blues Ain't So Bad, Valley of the Stones is just blistering, man. Great guitar parts. And so, sorry, I think I named every song on the album.
What's your favorite song, Ricky?
Yeah, no, I'm like Damon. It varies, it changes. I mean, obviously, I'd agree with Kingdom of the Lost is a pretty epic song. Being Irish, obviously, that's one that's quite close to my heart. I think Bound for Glory is a great song. To me, that's just you just want to write a complete rock song, and to me that just is hook after hook. And when I'm playing it, it makes me smile. I mean, it's just everything that comes after it is just epic as far as I'm concerned. The verse is epic. The guitar, like with Scott and Damon play, the intro is just, that made the song. I mean, that song, yeah. When we were recording that song, it didn't have that guitar, like it wasn't there. And myself, Scott and Damon were sitting in Toronto, said, we need something that's gonna. And the two of them just went in the control room and played that lick, and the song just went from being a really, really good song to being a fucking epic song because of that lick, and things like that. So I mean, I hear that, how it evolved, the story about the guy Johnny Wong who really exists down in Plymouth, the whole kind of thing behind that. I'm kind of pretty proud of it.
How many songs of the new album will you play tonight, and will there be also some Thin Lizzy material? I guess, sure.
Yeah, I think there's 11 songs on the album. I think we're doing 9 songs.
Awesome.
And we'll absolutely sprinkle the set with some of our favorite Thin Lizzy songs. Obviously, there's a massive catalog that we could cherry pick from. So it's a lot of fun to put the set list together and change things around and go from this song into that song, and but we're just so committed to putting on a great show. We want it to be something that the fans leave going, okay, those guys are serious business, and every song was really special, and I feel like that's what we've got, man. I think they're going to dig it.
Okay. Some general questions. What advice would you give a kid starting out to be a musician nowadays? In case of the music business, it changed a lot these days, so don't. But what do you think?
Well, I mean, it's hard to deny that it's some doom and gloom, when you ask that question to different musicians, because it is hard. It's harder now than ever, and it's certainly kind of lean times for, rock and roll bands, guitar bands, trashy punk, just, hot licks, guitar stuff. There's not as much of that anymore. But I also believe that the music business has always been kind of cyclical. You know, everything comes and goes and comes back around. So I'd like to think we're on the verge of, you know, a new wave coming. And I would just tell any kid the same thing that we did. We got into it because we loved it. We didn't get into it because we had any aspirations of being famous or even making money at it. We just played music because we loved it. And I tell all the kids, I tell my kids, if you want to do this, do it because you love it, and then everything else will take care of itself.
Ricky, if you could go back in time, what advice would you give a 21-year-old version of yourself?
Where do I start with that? Lay back on the drugs, lay back on the drinking, don't get married first time round. Listen to your heart more, don't listen to people around you as much.
Wear clean socks every day.
You know, that's it, you know. I mean, hindsight's a great thing. You know, in 21 I was out of control. There's no doubt about it. I was off the Richter scale, you know. So yeah, I mean, I think that I made a lot of mistakes, but mistakes make you who you are. And sure. You know, if I could go back, I wouldn't change a thing. Yeah. Because we wouldn't be sitting here now.
You want, Damon?
That's well said, brother. You know, when I hear that question, I think a lot of times there's more musical things. For me personally, you know, I would have loved to have kind of studied songwriting earlier. You know, I was a guitar player first as a kid, you know, 13, 14, and I was consumed with that all the way through high school and into college. I didn't really get serious about songwriting until I was in my mid-20s. So I would have loved to have started that, you know, 5 or 10 years earlier, just to kind of added that to the other stuff. But yeah, man, there's a lot of things I would certainly have done different on a personal level. And I don't think you can say it better than Ricky did. You know, all of those accomplishments and all those mistakes have brought me to where I am now. You know, there's always some regrets, but you know, it kind of is what it is.
Okay. Some funny turbo secrets. Do you have any?
Well,
some secrets that nobody knows.
Let's see, man. How much of this are we going to actually reveal in this interview?
Secrets are secrets for a reason.
I don't know, man. I think it might surprise some people that this is a fairly disciplined group of people.
We're mellow, you know. We're older, you know. We've all been doing this a long time, and we've all been crazy. And we have recovering, you know, drug addicts and alcoholics in the band. So you've got to be respectful of that, respectful of those guys, and, you know, respectful of each other's space. I mean, you know, it would be crass for us to run around like we were, like your previous question, like we were 21 years old, just being dicks, because I just think there's nothing worse than seeing guys our age behave like that. And some do, unfortunately, and it's just ugly. I'm not saying that we're boring, far from it, but, you know, we're disciplined. We want to put on the best show that we can put on. And that means not staying up to 7 o'clock in the morning, drinking and partying and doing blow and whatever those. You can't do that. That's when touring becomes hard. Musicians moan about, oh, going on the road is so hard and it's such a tough life. It isn't. It's piece of piss. Yeah. It's hard because you fucking drink your brains out and do drugs every night, and then you get in bad shape second week into the tour, and you're cranky and you're sore and your homesick's worse than it has ever been, and you can't function. That's why touring's hard. You know, it's as hard as you want to make it. That was a complete no answer to your question at all. Sidestep that very excellently.
No, it was good. Well, I will tell you that Scott Gorham is as much of a rock star now as he was 30 years ago in the fact that he still likes to sleep very late. He likes to stay up late and sleep late. So I respect that. It's hard for me to do that, man. I just can't.
Yeah, well, you know, Scott doesn't have kids. You know, we have kids and we're up. We need to be up to, you know, we're calling our kids before they go to school. There's a time difference, and that's what, you know, part of being a father is being responsible. We have that responsibility, and that's absolutely fine. You know, Scotty doesn't, and he made that choice, so Scotty gets to do that. I mean, yes, am I envious of it? Some days I am, you know. Yeah. But, you know, we have a bit of fun. I mean, Scott will come on the bus sometimes, Buzz will whine, and I'll always say, I got to beat the Scott, which means I got to get to bed before he snares me into the back lounge. You know. And I've heard all those wonderful Thin Lizzy stories, and they are wonderful. But after you've heard them for the 9,000th and 27th time, that's when it starts to get a bit, you know, kind of like, did I tell you what time? Yes. Did I tell you what time? Yes. Did I tell you can I go to bed now? Yeah. Yeah. But it's great, you know.
Do you have a PlayStation in your tour bus?
No, I'm sorry, not really.
No?
On the road, no.
Are you gaming in the tour bus?
We watch a lot of movies. You know, we watch a lot of movies, and a lot of the buses, especially over here in Europe, you know, they come
What kind of
equipped
movies?
with hard drives with all kinds of stuff. You know, we're into a lot of things, man. You know, like we're really into a lot of history shows, you know, like war films and things like that. Like we were watching Band of Brothers. But, you know, we're fans of there's a lot of great American television shows right now. I don't know if you guys have heard of some of these shows like Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Amazing. King of Thrones. You know, there's just a lot of cool stuff now.
So you watch them all together, or?
So yeah, a lot of times
Okay.
we'll sit together and watch something. You know, but as Ricky alluded to earlier, it's good to give everybody their space, and you know, we're really fortunate. We're fortunate that we get to tour Europe in a bus, a nice big bus, and there's room spread out, and somebody can be downstairs while other guys are upstairs, or you can crawl in your bunk and listen to music, or you know, whatever you feel like it.
Okay. Last question. Some words to the fans.
Without you guys, we wouldn't be sitting here. You're everything. You're our lifeblood. You're what makes us able to do this for a living, and you know, we love you. We love the fact that you support the band, and we're only too happy to write songs and to play live for you guys. As long as you keep supporting us, we'll keep supporting you as much as we can. But like without you guys out there, we can't do this. So we're eternally humble for that, and eternally grateful as well.
Okay.
Humbled by it, I should say.
Okay. Ricky, Damon, many thanks for the interview.
Thank you.
Bye.